So why don't you come into a quiet place? And start by just letting your body get relaxed in the chair. Taking a couple of gentle breaths in and out. And not letting the mind say what's next, just being in the heart of now. And letting your being, your heart, be receptive, be open, be present to the one, all that is perfection, the love in the room, the love of the divine that surrounds us, that lives in us, that lives through us as one, beautiful, divine, where there is only that presence and no separation. The loving presence of the one heart, the one love, the one wisdom, the one light. And in that light that we share, in that love that we share, is the honoring and loving message from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. Before we begin, we ask you again to change the reality of your thinking slightly from normal. What is happening? Who is speaking? Where is it coming from? I asked my partner to completely step aside and to let flow tonight what should flow. Can you think out of the box of what you know? The most difficult thing for humanity in general is to go to a place they've never been. Survival depends upon you going places you know about. If you've never been someplace, you'd be hesitant to go there. It just makes sense. You won't open a door when it says unknown. You'll open the door that says known, because you're comfortable with that. And the entire reason I bring this up is for what is next. I wish to enhance what you know about humanity. In order to do that, I will speak of controversial things. Those listening to this message after the fact may have been asked by others to listen. They will have a complete different perception that you will in this room. But this room contains an energy that cannot be duplicated on a recording. Those of like mind set up a confluence of consistency and belief. You might say that your belief here enhances the truth that you carry. I want to talk about humanity. I want to enhance humanity. I would like to tell you some of the things that took place in perhaps ways I have not before, to broach some subjects that maybe you're interested in. I do these things because all of the teaching tonight is to enhance the human experience. To show you you're bigger than you think. You may have been here longer than you know. And it's beautiful. When you think of human history, how far does it go back? If you look it up, how far does it go? Now, the common consensus of historians in general, and that which would be given to you by planetary scientists and authorities, has you only here for approximately 11,000 years. Now, I'm talking about societies. I'm not talking about a human in a biological sense, because there's been the evolution of humanity, and that's for anthropologists. I'm talking about sociology. How long have cities been here, systems been here, religion been here? How long does your science say that there's evidence of these things? Now, this may seem like a rehash of something we've discussed before, but it's more than that. In Istanbul, Turkey, we sat in front of a large group and gave a channel called Unknown History. This is similar, but different. But the premise is the same. You've been around a lot longer than 10 or 11,000 years. Now, go slowly, my partner, so this is succinct and makes sense. Everything you have that you can study, dear ones, about humanity and civilization stops about 10,000 to 11,000 years ago. It appears as though that is when it all got started. When the cities sprang up. When you go back far enough, one of the first ones you will see that had a succinct consciousness of organization was that which took place in the Indus Valley, which you call Sumeria. Almost 11,000 years. It looked like the first one. And everything past that follows the rules of linearity, synchronicity of discovery. One thing led to another, and you come up with the pyramids and so on and so forth. And this is your history. Now, metaphysically, we have channeled to you over and over that humanity is almost 50,000 years old, as you know it, that has had organization, civilization, cities, consciousness, evolution. You only see 10 of it. Where is the truth here? Why is it you cannot see what I say was there before then? Was there some kind of an event that might have erased what was formerly there to such a degree it doesn't show up to the archaeologist, to the historians, in the way that it does 10,000 years ago? And the answer is yes. There are all manner of things that I could lead you through right now. But what I want to do is plant seeds of information and truth that will enhance history, not challenge it. I am not here to rewrite things out of a belief that you have. I am here to add on to what you've been told. And what I say now and tonight may seem fanciful. After all, it's channeling. And those listening to this in the future, the far future, will smile because what I'm going to tell you now will finally be discovered at some time. It's only a matter of generations before you have certain kinds of instruments and examination that will show you the kinds of things that I'm going to explain to you now. Some things will never be seen. They can't be. Without a time machine, there's no way. You can go back far enough to see what I'm going to talk about. Let me interrupt this channel for something that seemingly is non sequitorious. In other words, it's out of the logic of the channel story, but it isn't. There is an overwhelming feeling among old souls on this planet that you have existed before in lifetimes that had advanced technology. Overwhelming. We've talked about it before, those who believe they've had the sinking island syndrome. Atlantis. Which one and when? Doesn't matter, you all were part of an advanced civilization. This is the feeling you had. I'm not confirming or denying it. I am talking about the truth of your Akash. Overwhelmingly, there is an entire section of humanity that is convinced, because of the feelings they have through past life, revolution, or dreams, or whatever, that they've been part of an advanced civilization way before 10,000 years ago. Would you like me to acknowledge it? All right. It's correct. Absolutely. 100% correct. You don't have a time machine, or do you? You have an Akash. And in the Akash is what we want to talk about. The Akashic record of humanity is that which would expose past life energies to you. And some of the most energetic ones will come to the surface, not in a linear way, not in a year per year per year, but instead in an energetic way. That is to say, the energy shows itself. What was most dramatic? What took place that sticks with you? And that's what you remember, and that's what comes forward. And here you sit. And so many of you said, yes, I was there. I know it. I can feel it. I've had dreams about it. I've had readings about it. We were part of this. There was advancement. We had many things that you don't have now. You're right. And now I'm going to tell you why. And it's not what you think. It's hardly what you think. It's outside of the purview of logic or things that would make sense to you, so stand by. Something wonderful. The human brain is complex, but one of the simplest things it does is to analyze based upon only what it knows. It cannot analyze things it doesn't know about. Therefore, if you believe you are part of something called an advanced civilization, let's define what your brain will tell you you did. Well, if you had an advanced technological civilization, you would have simply better things than you have now. The computers would be more powerful. You'd have flying cars. You'll have laser energy. People getting healed on tables instantly. Long lifespans. Right? You're nothing of the kind. Nothing of the kind. Isn't it funny about science fiction movies? There's nothing really new given to you. Only what you have that has been better developed. You only know what you know. So a science fiction movie about the future will simply have what you have now that works better. Better computers and flying cars. The idea of something completely and totally out of the box that you've never experienced yet, you think, will not be in a movie. Even the far thinkers that take you to outer space and look at other civilizations simply give you faster spaceships. Just more of what you know about, not what you don't know about. So I'm going to tell you what you don't know about. In order to make sense of this, we have to get a little cryptic. When Kryon, this that you've sensed, this energy, came to the planet originally, all those years ago, we gave you messages that said the magnetic grid of your planet is responsible for the activity of the enlightened consciousness. That is to say, that your DNA and the development of humanity is all tied in to the magnetic grid. I called myself the magnetic master, and now you know why. It's about the magnetic grid. Could it be that the magnetic grid of the planet is starting to change? We have given you channel after channel about that. We started by telling you it altered. It had to move dramatically in 10 years, more than it had moved in 100. Go find it in that which is the history of the measurement of the magnetic grid after 1987. The harmonic convergence. The grid had to move to prepare itself for something that's coming. What has the recent channels talked about that's coming? Let me review. You're moving into another part of space right now. This galaxy rotates around the middle. All of the stars moving at the same speed rotate relative to each other, rotate around the middle. Your solar system is moving into a new place of space that it has never been in with human life existing. Oh, it's been there, but not with life. So it's the first time human consciousness has ever been where it's going. Ask an astronomer what's going on. And they will tell you that humanity, for the last 10,000 years, which is all they computed, has always been in a certain kind of bubble of radiation. That the heliosphere of the sun has cooperated with that. And suddenly, it's changing. What have you seen about the sun lately? It's changing. What have you seen about the weather lately? It's changing. It's all related to where your solar system is headed. I told you this. There have been 3 channels where I've mentioned it. We've asked you to look at the science about it to see if I'm right or not. Are you moving into a new kind of space or not? Go find it. And when you find it, maybe you'll believe it, because you're headed into a kind of space that has an interesting radiation to it that many think is dangerous. And what I'm going to tell you next is it's going to alter the magnetic field of this planet in a multidimensional way to enhance human development and evolution. You're going to get smarter, because the magnetic grid is ready for this. It always was. Past the precession of the equinoxes, dear ones, you were ready to evolve, and you had to have the physics for it. And that is what we're talking about. Now, why would I bring this up when I talk about an evolved race in the past? And now I will tell you. About 11,000 years ago, at the end of the last glacier age a mini ice age, if you wish. There were things happening on this planet. I want you to go find them right now. They have to do with what I will call unusual plasmic activity in the atmosphere. The magnetic grid was much, much different. Mass ejections from the sun, the kinds of things that the movies are made of that would come and hit this planet's magnetic field, would charge it with different kinds of plasma. It's there for you to see. It's in the ice cores. It's in the magnetics that you would measure in the layers of the earth. It's been recorded. It was different then. And I want to tell you what it caused. First of all, it caused, at some point in time, because it got too strong, there was a lot of death. We have told you this before. You have had a situation where humanity has gone through at least 4 stages of civilization of different ages. And this is number 4, moving to number 5. We told you about looking at number 3. In unknown history, you won't find anything. And one of the reasons, it's been obliterated. And it wasn't through weapons, it was through plasmic discharge. This planet had an atmosphere that was alive in a different way through sun's activity. And it charged the magnetic grid in a way that humanity developed DNA to at least 50%. You're at 30 now, 35 perhaps. What I want to tell you is if you've had lifetimes where you felt you were an advanced civilization, you were, because your consciousness was advanced, not your technology. You could do things you can't do now, and you could do them easily. You could heal your own body with your own consciousness. There were those who knew how to create things out of nothing. You could have seeming inventions that weren't inventions at all. They were you with you. A high consciousness of humanity which changes physics itself. Yes, you were there. Not with flying cars and lasers, but with a wisdom that you remember. And there's a reason for all of this. So that in your Akash, listen to me, you're not covering new ground as you evolve. Listen to me. You are instead bringing forward what you had. There has been already a pattern. An Akashic pattern exists within you to fast track the evolution that you're going through. You've been there before. How do you like it so far? Old soul, what you remember in an advanced civilization way beyond 10,000 years ago is starting to pattern itself now. It's not new, it's not unknown, and your Akash knows it, and your innate knows it. And as those human beings come into this planet that are new and are newborns, they're picking it up from their Akash. What has been will be. It's not new. You're coming back on it. We talked about Atlantis. We've talked about the fact that not all of you, not millions of you, could have been on one sinking island. And yet you all believe you were. There's a metaphor there for the destruction of humanity for many reasons, and it was real, and you all went through it. Most of you were destroyed. And that was civilization number 3. Number 2 had its own reasons, mostly earth-based. The start over of number 4, that's what you are currently looking at as human history, only 10,000 years ago. Dear ones, you've been here for 50. Science will someday agree and see it for what it is. You're not that young. You're old. You've been here a long time. And your Akashic record is filled with these kinds of things. Do you see what I am saying today? You've got the building blocks of the future because you experienced it in the past, old soul. You're not going to be afraid of it. And when you start to experience it, it's going to be something that is comfortable to you. I want to ask you, look in the eyes of the indigo children that are going through some things. They are confident. They're not looking around scared that they're different. They're looking at you, wondering why you're not scared. They've been through this before. They're old souls. They're remembering that what is coming about in their consciousness and in their lives, they've been through before. Confidence in everything. You can see it. Let's talk about this Akashic record in a different way. You're having dreams, perhaps. I would like to tell you something. It's not fair. Your Akashic record is very, very biased. It is not going to read you your past lives in a linear way like you look at a book. Turn a page, who were you, what you did. Turn a page, who were you next and who you did. Turn a page, then what did you become? It's not interested because it deals with energy, only energy. And there is a reason in this new energy for the kinds of reflections you are having, the dreams you are having. I'm speaking to at least 8 people in the audience. You want to know why you're thinking the way you're thinking, what's coming up at this time, why now are these things being presented, what's up with your dreams, why are you feeling the way you're feeling. Your Akashic record is overtime, and it's giving you things to process. And the reason? Because you need to clear them. You're not going to go forward until you clear this stuff. That's the beauty of your innate. In your DNA, that which is most profoundly affecting your life based upon the past is going to come up and face you and ask for dismissal. Get rid of it. You're having some interesting dreams. Let's say you've drowned in the past life. Let's say that it might have been 1,000 lifetimes ago, but this is what you remember, and you have dreams of drowning. You can't breathe. You're gagging. You sit up overnight. There it is again, that dream. And what does a human do with that? It's so interesting. The first thing they go is for, what does it mean? What should I do about it? Now, that's accurate. What does it mean? What should I do about it? But they never analyze what it really means. They think it's prophecy. I'm going to drown. So I better not go by the water. It's a prophecy about the future. I'm having the dream over and over. Therefore, it must be something that is going to happen. So let's get afraid of it. It's not here to create fear. I'll tell you what it's about. That dream is about something happened to you that's affecting you even today. It's about your throat. It's about breathing. It's about many things. And it's got to be dismissed. If you will recognize it for what it is, being brought to you on a platter, old soul, and asking you to meditate upon it and say, thank you, Innate, thank you, Akash, for letting me see the sense of this. I'm not afraid of drowning. I'm not afraid of anything that's there anymore. It's not going to affect my life. I'm not afraid of the future. I will be happy to wade into the ocean or a lake without fear. That's what it's about. As long as there's something that is etched in your Akash that creates fear with you in dreams or past life experience kind of recognitions, it's going to hold you back. So what is starting to happen to old souls is that the lifetimes that are the most energetic, that contain the most dramatic things that are affecting your life, will be presented to you on a platter. How do you like it so far? And when it takes place, I implore you, do not be afraid of it. Do not manifest in fear around it, and don't think it's prophecy. It's not. It's you working with you. Dreams are this way. Old souls often have Akashic dreams. New souls, they're just getting used to the planet. They dream about other things. Old souls in this energy are starting to dream dreams that mean things. You have a dream about family, only nobody's playing the role they should play and nobody's in the right place. It couldn't be because it doesn't make any sense. It's nonsensical. So you have a sister or a brother or a mother or a father. They've been in places they've never been, meeting people they never knew, acting oddly. Now, someone in here I'm talking to. What does something like that mean? And you wake up completely and totally disarrayed and confused. Wow, I'm going to be betrayed by my family. It's not a prophecy. And I laugh because this is so human. In order to take something you don't understand and then project it into fear. I want you to project it instead to this. What is the metaphor? What does it mean? Start looking and analyzing what took place. Nothing is literal. Nothing. Your Akash doesn't know literal. It knows multidimensional impressions and potentials. That's all it knows. And it gives it to you in linear dreams. You've got an unusual family in your dream doing unusual things. It's not your brother, your mother, your father, or your children. That is a metaphor for family. And it's a spiritual metaphor that's shifting. There is shifting taking place, and it's asking you to be circumspect with who you deal with. That's what it's about. All it takes is a little bit of analysis from that which is innate and intuition. There's all manner of these kinds of dreams you're being given today that are asking you to analyze, to realize, and dismiss. You're decoding your life. Old soul, you've had lifetime after lifetime in such old energies. You've warred and then warred again. You've hated each other, you've killed each other. And you carry these things around in dreams. And some of them are so profound and you've done it so often that they affect your life. Mother, you got to stop dreaming about your kids dying. I'm talking to somebody else here. Just because they did before doesn't mean they're going to do it this time. You've all had children who died in your arms at birth, with your placenta blood on them. They never made it. They never made it. And this is a recurring fear, not of birth, but of death. It may come up in certain ways in your dreams of fear for only one reason, to present it to you saying, get rid of it. It's old energy. You're past that now. It's old energy. You're past that now. You're really past that now. But the old soul will continue to have the old things presented to them so they can get through them, dismiss them, discard them, and move forward. It's a lot of work, and that's why we call you a light worker. You've been there and you've done that. You've survived these civilizations. Some of them advanced, where you had an advanced consciousness of wisdom that you're recapturing. You can't go to an advanced place with a dark remembrance on your consciousness. What's happened in these last 10,000 years, dear ones, is still there in your Akashic record, and some of it has to be dealt with. What a great message, isn't it? God cares enough about you to bring you bad dreams. How about that? And when you have them, I want you to awaken, and instantly, I want you to celebrate it. You got a bad taste in your mouth and your brain. If you're not careful, a bad dream will ruin your day. Because you carry that sense with you from then on, and instead I want you to celebrate it. Do you have the courage to celebrate a bad dream? Then I want you right then on the bed to analyze. Thank you, Akash. Thank you, Spirit. Help me to figure it out. Whatever it is, I dismiss it. The ugly feeling that you have because of the dream is still with you for an instant. I dismiss it. It's gone, and it'll stay gone. It needs to be gone, or I can't move into magnificence. Get rid of the old before you go to the new. There are going to be many channels about these kinds of things because they're new. They're germane, that is to say, those listening relate to them. Because many of you have experienced these kinds of things. You've done nothing wrong. They're not bad prophecy. They're your own innate, bringing things to you so you can see them and dismiss them. That's the power of the old soul, the consciousness of an evolved spirit over thousands of years. That's what you have. Moving into an age where you can remember what it was like to have a wisdom that will never create another war. Good news, dear ones. Personal it is. Beautiful it is. Current it is. There's never been a time like this. It's not the same old, same old. Things are starting to shift, and there are those who are feeling it. What's going on? Why am I feeling this way? Why don't I know? What should I be worried about? Oh, how linear. Celebrate the change. Whatever it is that's going on, you celebrate it. Because there's a benevolence of love in your life that will give you good things that you create with your mind. Cast away the fear of the future and start celebrating what's to come. That's the message, not just of Kryon. It's the message of the New Age. I love humanity for this, for what's to come. And so it is.